Good morning, Mr. Chairman and City Councillors. The reason for this petition, Mr. Chairman, is very simple. There is funding that was approved in 2013 when shelters were approved to go on Worcester Street, and you changed the routes. And so now we're asking you, please, to use that funding to install a bus shelter outside Christchurch Community House at 301 Tuam Street, supported by the petition that I have here as president of the DPA. The trouble is, if you stand in meeting room 1, as many of you will know, you can see the bus a bit down the road, but there's no way you can get outside to it. And if you stand in the reception area, you can't see the bus at all. Outside, it can get a pretty wet area. And so from the point of view of the people who use the area, the disabled community and many of the community organisations that are in there and all the public meetings that you all surely know go on there, it is a request to please make use of that money that has been previously approved at previous meetings to transfer it to Christchurch Community House and install it at 301 Tuam Street. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Just so question, so it's more about having a shelter for protection against the weather instead of just having a place to sit?
Well, the thing is, of course, that that's one of the major reasons. People do need to be able to see the bus, which you cannot see from if you are inside the house. And therefore, people have been requesting of us, can we please arrange for a bus shelter to go in there? People would prefer it, the wheelchair user would prefer it as well, because there is a proper space and it is a simple request to use the money that was previously approved. It would be gratefully accepted by everyone if it could be installed there.
Are there any questions, Tim?
Do you know how long Community House is going to be located at 301 Tuam Street? Is it because is it a permanent?
It's a long-term permanent lease. Yes, it's a. I've not been given any data exactly, but they have the whole area, and I very much doubt that with the huge number of organisations that are in there, it's going to be shifted, because it's been moved around the city while the earthquake was on, and it's now there basically on a permanent basis.
Okay. So
I have not been told anything by Mike Asmundsson, the manager, and he says that the trust as well is in full support of the petition.
So yeah, because that's why I've asked the question, because as we know, it has been moved around due to the earthquake and findings. So this is going to be the semi-permanent digs from now on.
This is where it is to be located unless something else happened like that, yes.
Cool.
Because originally we were in Hereford Street, Cashel Street. It moved then down to, I think it was 575 Colombo for a short while. And now it's been moved up there, and it is on that bus route, the Route 80, and it is the second bus stop down.
Sure.
And therefore, it's a important place to have one for the benefit of the community to use and to be looked after as a whole. Because the thing is, if you look at the ramp outside as you come down, it is a fairly steep ramp to come down.
Yeah, I've got it
so
up
you
here.
want to make the effort to get down to the bus before you have to try and get on it.
Yeah.
And so it would be wise if it could be, you could have a place to sit and rest and to use as a proper bus stop and be included as one of the bus stops that you put a shelter in, which I know you do allocate money for 15 to 25 a year to be done.
Thank you. Thanks, Philip.
Sarah?
Kia ora, thanks, Philip. Just wondering, the statistics we've been given show that around 8 people a day hop on a bus there, which isn't normally a high number, but there are clearly some vulnerable people who use it. Do you think that having a shelter there would encourage more people to use the bus than are currently doing it? Is the lack of a shelter currently a barrier, or is it just the weather for those who already use the bus?
It is always a barrier not having a shelter. It's been one thing that I've noted. You put, say, like on North Avon Road, a shelter on one side of the road, and you get a very low use. Put a shelter on the other side, like we've been asking for there, and you will find that the number of people who use both of them goes up with a bang, because of the number of options you have available to you to go in directions with a shelter. The problem here, of course, is that Route 80 is being forced down Tuam Street, and the bus coming back cannot get to Tuam Street, and it's put on a different route. Yeah. So to go into the exchange. Yeah. But all of the time that we're being spoken to, people have said that they feel it would be worthwhile having a shelter there for the benefit of the community. That's why you got the request.
Thank you.
Thank you, Philip. Just a question on your petition. Do we have a copy of that petition?
You have it in your minutes.
Excellent. No, the actual petition itself.
It was sent in by me, a scanned copy of it to the community board, who forwarded it on to your executive officer, who said they had to consider it here. Yeah. And so you printed it off in your agenda without the address.
I've seen that.
Purposes.
We don't need the original.
I can sort that out.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so we do have a report coming to this committee shortly, for the next meeting or the following one, around another bus shelter on Tuam Street. So what we might do is ask for some staff advice in that report in regards to the bus stop outside the community house, just to see if what is the possibilities of actually installing a bus shelter there. So we'll just make a resolution. Yeah.
Just mindful of one of the comments in the submission was that people can't see the buses in terms of waiting in community house. I did wonder, one of the suggestions that has been made previously is to have real-time information screen or a system. I just wondered whether there was a possibility of, when the report comes back, considering if, you know, the option wasn't to put a bus stop, whether there was some information technology, real-time information technology that could be put in community house that might help. Thanks.
Thanks, Yanni. Okay. Do we have someone that wants to move that? Second it?
Yeah. Shall I declare it?
Melanie, Sarah moved it. Any discussion? All those in favour? Aye. Against? Carried. Thank you, Philip, for your time.